Greetings and welcome, part 5 of my developer diary for GoRR, Glory of Rome Remastered. Yeah, the amount of regions has reached, I think, 600. Not exactly 600, some regions are left, but you notice Scandinavia has formed up. The coastline is filled with new settlements. A lot of Gaul is expanded. I've added a lot of kind of buffer regions, which make these many small factions a bit more enjoyable from the beginning. When you start playing, they not fight each other immediately. They have some time to grab some rebel settlements, grow, and then start a civil war later on, or a war between them. Also the density, if I add all these little icons here again, I think it's very okay. All these areas here are pretty much dense, but in a positive way. For sure, Greece and Italy, there are some hotspots, or here the Levant coast. There are some hotspots with more settlements. Also the amount of people who lived there was much higher, so for sure there are a lot more settlements, and for the research it's also much easier to find names for regions or settlements or all the stuff that costs a lot of time. And this is kind of a problem with all this here, with all the Sarmatian, East European ground here. There aren't many settlements. At least I don't have the names for them. So what you see here are kind of a compromise, whatever. I looked up for tribes. For example, here in northern Denmark, northern Jutland, the Harudes, they are documented in Latin. I don't know if they call themselves Harudes, but at least I can give this area a little background. Or for example, all the Småland here in Sweden, there existed people, they lived there, and they spoke a language, so they have a name for the area or for the towns or settlements, but they are not delivered for today. So it's kind of a fantasy style. For example, this one, Kullerhögen. There was a settlement, Kulla, which is here in Skagerrak, this small island here, or not island, this spike, and there is Kulla, and Högen is a little hill, so the Kullerhögen is Kulla hill. The same here with Aspeland, which is kind of a modern invention from my side, but Aspe is same with Mori or Möre, is historical. It's even today some areas are called this way. So I went this way and put up some names which are kind of historical, for example Skane, or all this tip of Sweden here, and also Bornholm, the Danish island in the Baltic Sea, Burgunderrollen, or Holma, which is also documented as the homeland for the Burgundians, but I don't know if they called it this way. Holm, for sure, are the islands, but yeah. So what you can see and expect is not a historical or 100% waterproofed historical name, research or whatever. At least in these parts I go very much for tribes which aren't always located in the right time, for example. So Rugium settlement is documented, but I think it's much later. But this game starts at 268 BC, but you can play until they reach this name, or a settlement which is called this name. So it's a span of time, yeah. So in this way, all this left, what is left to do, will be covered with names which are partly made up from my side. And if somebody has an idea or an resource for names, I'm pretty much interested to incorporate more historical names. And the more barbarian the areas and the less written sources we have, or translated sources, yeah, the more I go for tribes. And for example, this settlement here, Locus Gepidae, yeah, they use the Gepidae tribes, but they aren't in this area. I will give this the ST faction, and I will look up for ST tribes. And Tomus Dulcis Tomus, okay, or Dulcis Tomus. A Latin name? No. This will change for sure. There are some of these strange names left. They were part from the original map, and I think the creator of the original map has the same problem. Yeah, and I tried to fix as many things as possible in a more correct way. Yeah, besides this, the map is growing. All of goal has been revamped, the ground types a little bit more tightened, some pathways here, crossways for rivers are cleaned, a lot of spots for ambushes are added. Yeah, I'm in a good mood here. Also I fixed some heights here, for example in modern day Swiss. I think about adding a lake here, for example, or in modern day Hungary, in this area here, the Balaton Lake. But if I have the time for this, I will do this, but for now it's not the highest priority. However, there are some parts in my mind which need, at one point, a correction. Also, for example, Alicanassus. It's also in a wrong spot, or strange spot. But for now, I leave it here. It's okay. It's serve a good purpose here with diversing the area, giving Rhodes, Miletus a foothold on the mainland, and also, yeah, it's okay. It's a game overall, and yeah. Also, these small islands here, I think you will get settlements here. They are small, but without limitations for regions. I can add them. As simple as that. Normally islands are pretty much ignored from the game or from the campaign IE, and if you design a game for Rome Total War or for Medieval 2 Total War, islands don't make much sense. They are basically for the player to be happy about an island, and the computer, the AI, isn't familiar with islands, I think. They need ships, they need armies, they need to combine both and attack the settlement, and this seems to be a heavy burden for the computer, and in the past at least spending settlements and islands is a waste of resources. But gladfully, Rome Remastered has lifted the limitation, and we can create wonderful big maps and games. So far for now, this is the current state here. I think, yeah, the Caucasian regions, I will focus on them. Maybe go north here to the Sarmatian steppe, and then in a good mood or in a good light of research, I finish all this big wooden tribal wasteland, basically. But there are some tribes, some factions here: Bodini, Venedi, Esti, Feni. They will appear here. So if you like, you can play as an underdog faction. For example, I don't know how they evolve in game, but here's a Gotai or Gotones faction. They have these two settlements here in the north and modern day Gotland, and I'm thinking about giving them some settlement here in the Vistula coastline to let them evolve into the south, because I don't want to expand too much here. I want them to migrate at some point, or at least to conquer southwards, causing some migrations maybe, or putting it historical. The population wasn't the highest, and they need some room. And the room is in the south, where all the settlement centers are. And yeah, as a barbarian player, you can have this experience. Create a horde and go south. Go for a plunder and vandalize everything. Okay, so I think you have a good view now here from my latest editions. Also, I put a lot of work in text. I've added faction descriptions, some missing ships, for example. These small ships here on the campaign map. If you create new factions, you need to add a special entry to let them appear. This is partly done. Still a lot of small details. Also, this one here needs to be there, and all these other settlements need a garrison at least. Yeah. So stay tuned. I will post some more updates. But I think if you look at this map, this is less than a quarter. Maybe 15% left. And these regions aren't so detailed and small. So yeah, I think about 30, 40, 50 regions here, and the map work is done. Maybe later on I will add Ireland or some... Yeah, Ireland is a bit boring. We will see. Okay, so stay tuned for the next update. I will inform you. And stay tuned, leave a comment, leave a like. And we will hear us. Bye.